We have seen minds break from grief and from joy. This is the first time we have seen a mind break from mathematics.
Broken by mathematics. That's a chilling new territory, even for this project. This is Displaced, Case File 004, The Wrong Sky. I'm Mara Saleh. With me, as always, is the lead researcher of the Temporal Displacement Project, Dr. Henrik Voss.
Mara.
Henrik, let's start with the subject. Who was he before you brought him here?
The subject's name was Marcus Aelius Priscus, 41 years of age, a senior architect in Rome under the reign of Emperor Hadrian. He was, by all accounts, a master of his craft. Concrete, arches, civic works. We have records of 2 bathhouses and a library attributed to him. He was a man who understood structure, materials, and human labor on a scale few in his time could match.
So you pulled a man whose entire world was defined by the built environment
and placed him in the densest part of another. From a street near the Forum in 120 AD to the pavement outside the Bank of England in central London. Midday, overcast. The duration of displacement was 12 minutes.
And his initial reaction? Most subjects experience a period of profound shock.
Marcus was different. The mind reader data shows almost no panic. Instead, what we see is professional assessment. He does not see chaos. He sees a city, albeit a bizarre one, and his training takes over. He begins to categorize, to analyze.
He's trying to make it make sense.
Precisely. The cars, for instance. He classified them as covered litters, remarking on their speed and the curious lack of servants to carry them. The roar of traffic he logged as the sound of some great unseen industry nearby. He was confident, authoritative. Every strange new input was filed away into a Roman category. His mind was not breaking. It was annexing reality.
And what about the buildings, the skyscrapers? It's a fascinating coping mechanism. He wasn't denying the evidence of his senses, he was just mistranslating it. What else did his Roman worldview reshape for him?
He looked up, and for the first time, we registered a flicker of true awe, but not disbelief. He saw the gherkin, the shard in the distance, and concluded they were temples. He noted their impossible sheerness, the way they were clad in what he called sky stone, or glass. He praised the ambition of the builders, but criticized the piety. What gods, he wondered, could possibly demand such hubris? And then he noticed the people themselves. He noted the sheer diversity of their clothing, which he interpreted not as fashion, but as the garb of 100 different conquered tribes. He saw a city so powerful it had enslaved the world, a dark and triumphant Rome. Even the food a street vendor was selling, a hot dog he perceived as a form of ritual sacrifice, prepared in a steaming metal shrine. His mind was desperately trying to impose order.
It's almost funny, his confidence.
It was. For the first 7 minutes, it was. And then, the architect took over from the observer. He stopped wondering about the why of the temples, and his mind turned to how. That is when the comedy ended. He focused on one of the smaller glass towers nearby, about 30 stories. He began to do what he had done his entire life. He started calculating. The amount of stone, the number of laborers, the years required. It was second nature to him.
Right. A man of his expertise could probably estimate that pretty accurately for, say, the Colosseum.
And that was the problem. His estimates were excellent. He knew, intimately, the limits of human endeavor. He calculated the weight of the structure. He factored in quarrying the material, transporting it, lifting it, and the numbers that came back to him, they did not make sense. To build one of these temples would, by his math, require every able-bodied man in the entire Roman Empire for 100 years.
And there were dozens of them.
He looked from one building to the next, and he kept running the numbers, and they kept coming back impossible. The confidence didn't just break Mara. It was pulverized. He wasn't seeing a city built by men. He was seeing evidence of a power so vast, it was indistinguishable from the divine. He was an architect, staring at the handiwork of gods, and the only tool he had, his logic, his mathematics, was the very thing proving his own utter irrelevance. That was the moment of his devastation. Not the sight itself, the calculation.
What were his thoughts at the moment of return?
Just 2 words repeated. The wrong sky. He wasn't referring to the clouds or the color. He meant the skyline. The very shape of the boundary between the earth and the heavens was a mathematical impossibility, a violation. Then he was back in Rome, standing in the same spot he left.
And what was the long shadow? How did 12 minutes in the future affect the rest of his life?
Our historical trace on him is clear. Marcus Aelius Priscus, celebrated architect, completed the project he was working on, a minor aqueduct extension. And then he never built again. He resigned his commissions, citing an exhaustion of spirit. He spent the last 20 years of his life in quiet retirement, studying philosophy. There is a letter from a friend that says Marcus became obsessed with the unknowable scale of things. He did not go mad. He simply stopped. How can you lay the foundation for a bathhouse when you have seen a temple that would require the labor of your entire civilization?
Henrik, you took away his vocation. You showed a man the pinnacle of his own discipline, and in doing so, you broke his ability to practice it.
He was not harmed physically. He was not imprisoned. We provided an experience outside the bounds of his reality. The consequences of that experience are a result of his own rigid, logical mind. We showed him the numbers. He is the one who did the math.
That feels like a very fine distinction. You gave him a truth his context could not support, and it cost him his life's work.
Yes, it did. The case of Marcus teaches us a profound lesson. Perhaps the most humbling thing is not what you cannot understand. It is understanding exactly enough to know the scale of what you cannot understand. His intellect was both his greatest tool and the instrument of his own quiet undoing.